Spartan Super is like the bastard of all the races. Like nobody, they go for sprint. I'm totally into it.
I mean,
I
it's
love it now. I want to challenge. They go to beast. The supers, like people just don't
and
give a shit other than for trifecta.
I think now they made it worse for themselves because before it was like a 9 miler, and most people were like, "Well, I'm not quite ready. I
Right,
just did my first sprint and I loved it." And I'm
right,
like, "But 9 miles is a big commitment."
right.
And now it's like, I don't know. It's like Super's now 6. It's like that's too easy. So
Yeah, it's like who cares?
so
I'll
before
go
before
for
it
the
was
beast.
before it was too hard, and like
Right,
some people were just in the sprint zone forever,
right.
and now it's too easy. So those people are just jumping over it. So I don't know, but
And my other gripe with um, the super is there's just not enough of them. Not around here.
around here it sucks. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I think now, dear Spartan, you know, when you turn back from a media company to an event company,
yeah.
um, definitely just offer sprint and super at every venue.
I don't know why every venue couldn't be a trifecta venue, even if you make people do the sprint loop twice. Like, you know
Good
what?
point. Good point.
It's like, so what if
Sign
you?
them up for the extra dough.
It's like, so
Get
what if you're gonna throw the spear twice? Like you're doing it to earn the super.
right.
So
And you know what? I got to tell you, doing the spear twice blows.
yeah.
Because normally when you do it, I hit, yeah, it's over, cool. Let's just enjoy everything else. This is great. Then you, oh yeah, I did it. Fuck, I gotta go and do it again. So that just kind of like great. Not it's in the back of your mind. You do it once, done, cool. So to your point, if you had to do it again, it just like a sort of
It's
a
a ment
multiplier,
it's
a
a
mental
mental,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
that's
if
a great
you
idea.
and if you wanted to make it a slight hybrid, it was like fine. There is a tiny little loop that has 4 extra obstacles on it. So it's like, okay, I do the sprint loop and then I come around and I do most of the sprint, but I'm gonna skip, like instead of doing rope climb and like the ones like the main ones, I will do just these 4 other ones. Maybe if you could find a way to link it into like the beast and just hit 4 of those and you come back, like I don't know, they can figure it out. Like
Sure. And be like, okay, well, give
because
us an
they
example.
yeah,
The spur for the ultra.
exactly. It was like
There's a
something,
little arm that you go off and you do some extra stuff.
yeah.
I don't know, between extra laps and a divergence where you go off and you do some extra things, you could at least have a sprint and a super at every venue. And by that, I'm thinking of Tuxedo. Why is Tuxedo in New York
Just a sprint.
just a sprint
Yeah,
when you could have
agreed.
that many more participants, or if not, that much more in revenue because you're charging an additional fee for the
Yeah.
super?
Or you're going to do a sprint and come back and do a super, or you're going to do a sprint and later in the same day you're going to do a super. Either way, it was like that's another race entry that
Right.
you have at a site you've already set up.
Right.
You've
You're
already
already
paid
there.
insurance on, and you've already done everything.
Exactly. And okay, well, we're only limited to a certain amount of trails or space. Okay, well, instead of just going out and making a loop for your sprint, go out and do some zigzags on the same to increase the mileage.
The same,
You're in
the
the same
same.
space. You know?
Like I remember starting on that tuxedo all the way far to the left, and it was a really wide trail, and you just kind of went up to the top. It was like, fine, go right up, come right back down to that same trail, and go back up that same trail, and now it's 3 times on one trail. You just went
Right.
up, down, up. It was like, yeah, you can pull that off. Yeah, they can figure it out. They can figure it out. And then obviously because like tuxedo, this time around, the October, the one that just canceled, was a all 3 event. They changed it.
Tuxedo was a
Not
trifecta
tuxedo.
weekend?
No, Vernon, New Jersey.
Oh, yes. Well, Vernon is a perfect example because they've had all 3. They've had
Yeah.
all 4. They've had the Ultra.
Yep.
They've had Beast, Super, and Sprint.
Yep.
And okay, yeah, I think every time they host, an event there, they should do a trifecta weekend.
I think all of them should
It's
be
just more revenue.
trifecta. I think more of them should be trifecta, and then the ultra can still be mixed in. It doesn't have to like use that loop for a super loop or something.
Right.
Like
How
it
many
doesn't-
more people are going to do a super versus an ultra
Yeah.
from a business standpoint?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And if you're talking about like New Jersey, approach it where you're going to set up the course for the longest distance. It's a critical path because it's the longest. Set it up for a beast. And then all you have to do is restrict.
That's
Okay,
right.
don't go that way. You go this way and start coming back down. You're doing a
going
super.
home. Yeah. Start going home. Sprint. Start
Right.
going home. Super.
Sprint. You don't even get that far as to a super. Now you're coming back.
That's right.
And really, if somebody, I got lost and I did the whole thing. I don't care. Your wristband is red. You're only getting the red medal.
That's
You're
right.
not getting all three. You did fine. You paid.
Congratulations on your sprint. Your math sucks.
Right, right. Your Garmin is going to look heroic. Your wall, not so much. I think this is a really simple, logical workaround
And I like
to increase participation, and especially where they're lacking. And what started my gripe was with supers. It's not that hard.
like, go back to the cool wristbands. It's like the
Right. Or just even the ones that you can't take off. The fuzzy ones are cool. I always like those.
Yeah.
But if you don't want people swapping wristbands or whatever, because there's
sure.
so many cheaters in Spartan.
I did
Not the case.
I
Not
did
at
a
all.
beast a week ago. Therefore, I'm gonna put the green one back on
Yeah,
so I can
it's
get
just
another.
it's not that kind of crowd because
You didn't earn it, so yeah.
I just put the tapey ones on that you can't. They get
Good.
cut at the end of the race.
Yep.
Boom. So, and I'm sure we've got a whole host of those, maybe left over from the season that never was. So, not a hard do.
Yeah, put your timing chip on a colored one. It was like instead of the yellow one that says Spartan.
There you go.
No.
Or don't give anybody an additional wristband for the timing chip. You get a colored tape crapola, the free beer ticket kind of thing for your chip.
Yeah,
it's got the color associated with the band of race you're supposed to be in.
Here's your blue.
There you go. And if it's trifecta, just I wouldn't give us 3. That would be just obnoxious, but maybe you do. Maybe that's the simplest one. You don't have to print an additional thing that's got like the 3-color flag on it.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. We just solved all of Spartan's problems.
No.
And we are a media company.
That's right.
Not an event company. Maybe that should change. Let's swap.
Hey there, Big Joe. Call us. We would actually fix everything.
That's right.